Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for chapter 3 Geography part 2 Our Changing Earth. In this video we are going to discuss about a case study of earthquake, volcanoes, slow movements, exogenic forces. So these are some of the topics which we are going to discuss in this video. We already discussed about earthquake in our previous video. So earthquake is basically a sudden vibration on the earth's crust due to a natural cause which produce a trembling. Now when the lithospheric plates move suddenly, the surface of the earth vibrates and this vibration is called earthquake. This earthquake caused a lot of destruction. Also we discussed about the important points of the earthquake, and here we will discuss about the case study of earthquake. Now the first is place and time of the earthquake, where this earthquake took place and what was the time. So there was a major earthquake which occurred in the northwest India and Pakistan on 8th day of October, that means 8th October 2005, and it occurred in the morning at about 9:20 a.m. Now what was the intensity and epicenter of the earthquake? So the intensity of this earthquake was recorded on the Richter scale was 7.4, and if you would have seen the previous video properly or read the chapter properly, you will understand that 7.0 or more is major earthquake that causes maximum destruction. It was a major earthquake which occurred. According to US Geological Survey, its magnitude was 7.6. So according to Richter scale, it was 7.4, and according to US Geological Survey, it was 7.6. Now the epicenter of the earthquake was near Muzaffarabad, that is in Pakistan. The earthquake carried huge loss of life and property. So if you have read the chapter properly, you will understand that earthquake cause the maximum destruction near the epicenter, but when it goes far from the epicenter, the destruction decrease. So if you see the Muzaffarabad was the epicenter, it was near to Muzaffarabad, then that was the place where maximum damage has been caused. The area around the epicenter is destructed more in the earthquake. Now adversely affected area. What were the areas which were affected that time? So some parts of Punjab, Himachal Pradesh and huge portion of Jammu and Kashmir was affected by that earthquake. Its tremors were also felt in the areas of New Delhi, Uttaranchal, Rajasthan, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, etc. So actually these places are a bit far from the epicenter. So these places only felt the tremor. In Pakistan, the earthquake tremors were left in Lahore, Rawalpindi, Peshawar, and Islamabad. Now, what was the loss of life and property? So, as per an official record, about 1,309 people lost their life, and while about 37,607 buildings or houses were collapsed. So you can see this is huge number. Now, how the relief operations were has been taken care of. So our government took praiseworthy steps to rehabilitate the affected people. Now this central government that time announced a sum of 100 crore rupees for the relief and rescue measures in the earthquake affected areas. Also, the medicines, blankets, tents, woolen clothes, sugar, biscuits, etc. These things, these important things were sent by the air for affected people. Now, this was from the central government. The state government also announced 1 lakh rupees for the construction of houses. So, central government also donated 100 crore rupees, as well as state government also uh, helped with announcing 1 lakh rupees for the reconstruction of the houses. So, like this, you can see the amount were announced to give the people, so that reconstruction and rehabilitation can be done. Also, the needed thing, important things were sent to the people. So this way the relief operation was conducted. I hope with this study you would have understood about the earthquake, that what are the things which needs to be done that time. Next we have volcanoes. So this word volcano is derived from a Latin word volcanus, and volcanus means Roman god of fire. Actually, this volcano is an opening in the earth's crust through which molten material erupts suddenly. ये एक तरह का खुला हुआ सिरा होता है अर्थ के क्रस्ट में, जिसमें से जो पिघले हुए मटेरियल्स हैं वो बाहर निकलते हैं, ऑल ऑफ सडन वो बाहर निकलते हैं. Now, volcanoes bring hot gases, ash, solid rock materials, steam, etc. from the earth's interior. Now, this opening from where these these materials come out, that is called vent. Also, the funnel shaped basin surrounding the opening, that area or vent is called crater. You can see in the picture the crater is there on the mouth, and you can see the vent also. Now, this earthquake, volcanoes, these were the effects of the sudden movements of the endogenic force. Now we will discuss about the slow forces, slow movements of endogenic force. So slow movements in lithospheric plates are responsible for building mountains. And these movements can be vertical or horizontal. In any way it can happen. Now we will discuss about the features of this. So if we talk about the vertical movement cause of uplift or subsidence of the earth's surface. That means the area is raised. Now they give birth to plateaus and valleys. Now horizontal movements are responsible for folding and faulting. So folding and faulting create mountains, and rift valleys respectively. Because of the horizontal movement, folding and faulting is happen, and folding and faulting creates mountain and rift valleys. Now these both horizontal and vertical movements are caused due to dystrophic forces. Now these forces operate very slowly. It is not like the sudden movements like earthquake or volcanoes which happens suddenly. It is not like that. It is just opposite. It takes a lot of time and slowly it happens. Their effects can be seen after thousands and millions of years. It cannot be instant like earthquake. It takes you to understand that this movement is going on. You have to see the things 1,000 years back. So it takes thousand or millions of years to when you can see the result effect. Now now we will discuss about exogenic forces. So the word exogenic is derived from two words. Exo means outside. Genic means origin. That means which is generated from outside. So these forces work on the surface of the earth, and that is why it is called exogenic forces. Now these forces give rise to a great variety of landforms. These are responsible for the rise of great variety of landforms. So exogenic forces are known as external forces, and they modify the landforms. They also directly or indirectly they are also directly or indirectly affected by the sun's energy. Now the whole process of wearing away the earth's crust by the external forces is called as gradation. You can see the picture of the gradation here. In gradation you have erosion, means the lowering down of the elevated landform of the earth. Lowering down means elevated means raised. जो उठा हुआ लैंडफॉर्म है उसका नीचे की तरफ आना, that is erosion, that is degradation. And then you have aggradation, which is deposition, means fill up the depression of the earth's surface. मतलब अर्थ के काली जगह को भरना. Now we have degradation, which consists of two processes, weathering and erosion. Now what is weathering? So weathering refers to the gradual disintegration of rocks on the earth's surface by atmospheric agents like temperature, moisture, plants, animals, frost, human beings, etc. That means रॉक का धीरे धीरे टूट के निकलना, रिमूव होना, अपने मेन पार्ट से रिमूव होना एटमॉस्फेरिक एजेंट्स के थ्रू. और वो एटमॉस्फेरिक एजेंट्स क्या हैं? दे आर टेम्परेचर, मॉइस्चर, प्लांट, एनिमल, फ्रोस्ट और ह्यूमन बीइंग. इन एनी ऑफ द फॉर्म, if there is a gradual disintegration of rocks, so that refers to weathering. Now what is erosion? So erosion is the wearing away of the landscape by different agents like water, wind and ice. So अगर water, wind और ice की वजह से अलग होता है कोई लैंडस्केप होता है, तो that is erosion. Now the weathering process takes place with the help of number of geomorphic agents like running water, underground water, glaciers, wind current, ocean current, etc. Also, these agents carry away the eroded materials and eventually it deposit in the depression to form new landscape. So actually what happens, whatever materials has been carry forwarded, whatever materials had been erosion has been taken place, because of that erosion whatever material is removed, that material is deposited in one place in the depression to form new landscape, and like this new landscapes are formed or modified. Now, how does weathering differ from erosion? If you see this, you will find that weathering and depression, same process is going on in the both of the thing. So, how it is different? So, people believe that both are same, but in reality, weathering only include the disintegration of rock, and the transportation of this decayed material is not part of weathering. It is included in the process of erosion. That means only disintegration, only when it is removed from the rock, that is weathering. But when it is transported to other place, that is not in the weathering. That is in the erosion. See this picture so that you can understand the erosion and weathering properly. See, in the first one we have weathering causes the rocks to break. Only weathering causes the rocks to break. Transportation is not the part of weathering. In the second one, erosion, which is happening with the water, and transport moves the sediments downhill to another place. See, the transport is moving down to the another place until here it is erosion. So I hope you can understand this with the picture. Weathering causes only rocks to break. That is weathering. Here weathering ends. But erosion is the rocks are broken, the erosion, and it is transported. The sediments which is removed from the rock, that is transported to other place. So this is difference between weathering and erosion. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.